What's up? Episode 50 of the Minisode A Doctor Perspective series. I'm your host, Dr. Justin Trost-Claire. Before we begin, I've been doing these series for 2019, really having a blast with it. And I realized, hey, there's a couple of series I could put together that I didn't create a PDF for, like the Cash Practice Physical Therapy. So if you just go to doctorsperspective.net/cashpt, I'll put all the episodes, there's only 4 of them, that correspond to that, so you don't have to guess. And we had a marketing series. It was 3 and then 3 others kind of randomly. So I'm going to put those together, and you can just go to .net/marketing series, and you'll be able to get that. That's all I wanted to chat about with you today. The marketing was quite good. The Cash PT was good. So hopefully you will look at that. And we just should have wrapped up the dentist series. So that's at doctorsperspective.net/dentists with an S. So enjoy those PDF reference sheets so you don't ever have to guess again. Now this week was Noah Kagan. He's the AppSumo guy, and he interviewed Ramit Sethi. He's several books. One of his books is Your Move, The Underdog's Guide to Building Your Business. That one's less known as the I Will Teach You to Be Rich, 2nd edition. I believe he was on Tim Ferriss as well. But he's like, hey, if you'd have done what I told you to do 10 years ago, you'd be in a much better place. So just do it. So one of the things he talks about is a rich life means you can spend on the things you love as long as you cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't. So let's dive into that. Of course, as always, you got to get on a budget. You got to reduce your spending. One way to reduce your spending for some people is to get off the email list to all the stores. Open it up, hit unsubscribe. If you didn't know that there was a 20% off sale, you probably wouldn't have spent that money. You just said you would have just never known. But it's like there's something about seeing a sale. And I was thinking about getting that. Let me go ahead and just get it. Or I didn't even need it. But hey, at 35% off, I might as well do it. One of the ways you can lose a lot of money is doing a lot of house remodels. Only like the kitchen and the bathroom could get a return on investment. A lot of the times, the landscaping in the backyard and all that, that's just money that goes down the drain. So if you're looking for ways to cut expenses and save money, that's one good way to do it. When he's referring to investments, he likes low-cost funds, target funds, like a Vanguard, Target Retirement, 2045 or 2050, wherever year you're going to retire. He believes having like a new account for each fund and having 3 months of expenses saved. And he does prefer like a Vanguard versus a Wealthfront. I personally use both. But the new account for each fund, that's just saying if you're going to buy a couch, have an envelope or a fund, an account for that. A new car, that vacation, have a fund for each one. And so your savings splits into all of those. Again, the concept, you can only cut so much, but you can make more money in an unlimited number of ways. And we already talked about it a couple episodes ago, so we won't rehash that yet. One of the things he said is, look, a lot of our parents, the baby boomers, they wait until they retire to try to spend their money and travel. But a lot of people, their health doesn't allow them to. So the new thing, and what finds to be better, is between the age of 40 and 75, I'd even say up to like 60, that's the time where you want to kind of spend your money and go travel while your health is still good. Because you're not promised tomorrow. And if you want a boat, maybe go rent one first, right? Now, a lot of us love that book, A Millionaire Next Door. We love the Warren Buffett. Oh, he's in the same house he's been in forever. He drives the same Cadillac he's driven forever. Cool. The dude also has a personal jet. So you can still buy what you want, but not be a Meisner, okay? Like if you're into wine, you can go buy your wine. If you're into fancy dinners, you can do fancy dinners. It's all based on the lens that you do things with. You may not understand spending $300 on a 4-course meal, and afterwards you're like, hey, you want to go get some pizza because we're still hungry. So if you don't know anything about that and you think that's dumb, then you might want to go with people that's their thing. And if you have the money to spend, go experience it with somebody who can really appreciate it and kind of teach you and guide you during that process. So you can be like, wow, okay, I've tried it once, still not my thing. Alrighty. The author, he's like, I don't really care about cars and all that and a gigantic apartment in fancy Manhattan. He goes, I like clothes. He's like, I buy really expensive clothes that, made in a village in Italy type of thing. Like he said, he's mercilessly cuts expenses where he doesn't care, and he'll spend where he wants it. One of the thoughts was, he said, you want a $100 million business with a 5% margin or a $20 million business at 50% margin? And depending on what you are, if you're a business owner, you might want that $100 million. But I've heard a couple different podcasts. I've talked about a couple times here on the minisodes. How much work does it take to get to that $100 million? How much stress? How much time away from family and friends, potentially stress, heart attacks, does it take to get there? Where you could have been really just on autopilot at 20 million and making really not as much money, but easier money, less stressful money. And in reality, it's still a ton of money as well. General rule of thumb, if you're going to pay rent, mortgage, it should be less than 28% of your total salary. 28%. And remember, free stuff has a cost. It's usually time and inaction. So there's a lot of free stuff online, like my anti-itch skin that I just did. I've given away the book for free. How many people actually read it? That's the question. You get something for free and then you don't even read it. You pay a little bit, even if it's like $7, like $2, you're more likely to read it because you have something invested. And that's why there's like these free plus shipping book deals that a lot of places are doing now. They'll give you the book for free. You pay like, $10 to cover the shipping, and it just weeds out the people that just would never ever buy anything. So if you're willing to spend 10, then you might be willing to spend the $295 later, or the $3,000 later, or the $20,000 later that they have on their ascension ladders. Now, essentially at some point, you make too much money to do certain tasks. The amount of time it takes to cut like a gigantic yard of grass, you might like it. But if you're already working 55 hours a week and you got kids at home and you got to cut grass for 3 hours a day or 3 hours on a Saturday, you're missing a lot of family time. You already were missing a lot of family time. Now you're still missing more on the weekend. So it becomes, maybe it's worth it because you can afford it to just outsource that, right? These are called money dials. Are you ready? Travel, food, clothes, convenience, fitness, and health. All of those are what people are willing to spend their money on. Travel, food, clothes, convenience, fitness, and health. So if you have a product or service, a coaching program that can focus on some of these things, people will spend the money, especially like travel. A lot of us, we want to go to these different places, but we don't want to spend all the money that we've earned doing it. So we're trying to find like a budget way to travel, but not too budgety, So do you know these things? Can you do these things? We've all been on those websites. And sometimes you pay to have a guide to be able to see that. Because think about this. Once you make a certain amount of money, you're not really worried about a $3 pickle jar anymore. You might be more worried about where you're going to spend the next $300, right? Are you worried about buying vegetables that are pre-chopped? Or are you at a budget where no, that really makes a difference? So it's just kind of where you're at in your budget, where you're at in your income. If you're fresh out of school, new clinic, you may need to buy fresh vegetables and cook at home and bring a lunch because you really don't have the funds to do anything else. You might save your money in different areas so that you can go on a date with your spouse or finding start a relationship or something, and those take money. So you might save money somewheres. Maybe you don't buy a big TV. Maybe you don't have TV at all. Maybe you don't have internet at your house. You just pay a little bit more for your phone and save $50, $60 right there, even $125. Some people spend on like cable and all that. So you can save that and spend it somewhere else. You still end up spending the same amount of money, but on the things that you enjoy and the things that you like. All right, hit the head on the nail a few times here. So we just went hashtag behind the curtain, Minisode 50.